In the late 1990s, action movies treated guns like weightless magic wands. One film broke that spell. The Matrix did not just use real firearms, it transformed them with radical modifications inside a workshop with walls that were 600 millimeters thick. The prop team worked under a single challenge: make every weapon instantly iconic and believable. How did those mythic gun builds change Hollywood's rules, and what made audiences obsess over guns that never truly existed? The answer began with a blueprint few had ever seen. Throughout the late 1990s, action movies often treated firearms like stage props, tools for spectacle, not for storytelling. Heroes and villains sprayed bullets without pausing to reload, and the guns themselves rarely stood out as anything but generic hardware. Endless ammunition became a running joke, with shootouts stretching far beyond the limits of any real magazine. Directors relied on fast cuts and sound effects to gloss over the details, while actors waved plastic pistols and rubber rifles that barely resembled their real-world counterparts. For audiences, the result was a kind of visual shorthand: guns as magic, untethered from weight, recoil, or consequence. This approach shaped the entire genre. Gunfire was just noise, and the weapons themselves melted into the background. No one cared about make or model. The difference between a Beretta and a Glock might as well have been invisible. Even the choreography followed suit, with shootouts built for rhythm rather than realism. The logic was simple: if the action never stops for a reload, neither does the tension. But this style came with a cost. The lack of detail made every film look the same, and the absence of recognizable firearms stripped away any sense of authenticity. Guns became interchangeable, and the fantasy lost its edge. By the end of the decade, the genre shortcuts had left a gap, a hunger for action that felt grounded, where the weapons mattered as much as the heroes who carried them. Inside a nondescript building in Sydney, John Bowring ran one of the most secure film workshops in Australia. The walls, 600 millimeters thick and reinforced like a bank vault, kept both real firearms and custom props under tight control. Entry meant passing alarms, motion sensors, and shock detectors, each layer designed to satisfy strict New South Wales weapons laws and the demands of big-budget productions. Bowring's team did not just store guns, they built them from scratch, blending old-school gunsmithing with modern effects work. Every replica, from hard plastic pistols to weighted stunt guns, was cast and finished in-house. For actors, that meant training with orange-colored, legally cleared resin pistols, safe to handle, but matched in size and heft to the real thing. The workshop's process started with a visual request from the directors or the stunt team. A gun needed to look futuristic or handle a certain way in slow motion. Bowring's crew would modify real firearms or fabricate new ones, always balancing camera needs with on-set safety. Sometimes that meant extending magazines to create a bottomless look or reshaping grips so dual wielding felt natural in a fight scene. For scenes requiring live blanks, every weapon was checked, registered, and fired only under armor or supervision. Blanks were treated as dangerous as live rounds. No one fired directly at another actor, and camera angles were carefully planned to sell the illusion without risking injury. In Bowring's shop, the line between movie magic and real-world risk was never blurred. Every custom build and every safety protocol turned a director's vision into a prop that could stand up to both scrutiny and the chaos of a Matrix shootout. Inside Bowring's workshop, creativity was not just encouraged, it was required. When the script called for Mouse to unleash pure chaos, the team built 2 electric 12-gauge shotguns from scratch. Each one had a 25-shell carousel and could cycle shells at a staggering 900 rounds per minute. These were not based on any off-the-shelf design. Instead, Bowring and his crew combined elements from oddities like the Manville M12 and the high-standard 10A, then added their own electric drive system. The result was a pair of weapons so over-the-top, they were named after the directors themselves, Andy and Larry. Every detail, from the rotating cylinder to the serial numbers, was a nod to the film's sense of spectacle. But not every challenge called for spectacle. Sometimes the best solution was subtle. The Wachowskis wanted their heroes' guns to read instantly on camera, even in the middle of a bullet time blur. For Trinity, the choice landed on the Beretta 84 FS Cheetah, a compact open-slide pistol that looked sleek but did not dwarf Carrie Ann Moss's hands. Extended magazines hinted at endless firepower, while the gun's clean lines matched the film's controlled, digital world. Neo's Berettas went the other way. Full-size 92 FS models, stainless steel, with flared mag wells for fast reloads and that unmistakable hero silhouette. Every modification, from longer mags to tweaked grips and brushed finishes, was designed to make sure the audience could spot the difference between a hero and a henchman, even in the chaos of a slow-motion firefight. The agents' sidearms in the Matrix were impossible to ignore. Each one carried a Desert Eagle Mark 9, a pistol that dwarfs nearly anything else on a movie set. The choice was no accident. The Wachowskis wanted a weapon that would instantly read as intimidating, even in a split-second cut. At nearly 11 inches long and weighing more than 4 pounds when loaded, the Desert Eagle's sheer size created an unmistakable silhouette, an exaggerated, almost comic book sense of threat that matched the agent's inhuman presence. On screen, that massive chrome slide and squared-off frame became a visual shorthand for authority. When Agent Smith drew his Desert Eagle, the message was clear. This was not a weapon for mortals. The .50 Action Express chambering engraved on the barrel added a layer of mythic power, even though most scenes used 44 Magnum blanks for reliability. The prop team extended magazines and polished every surface to catch the light in bullet time, making the gun glint like a badge of office. Dr. Lindsay Steenberg, a film studies scholar, describes the Desert Eagle as a cinematic power symbol, less a practical sidearm, more a declaration. In the hands of the agents, it wasn't just a gun. It was the law of the Matrix, delivered with mechanical certainty. The subway fight in the Matrix breaks from the old rules. Every shot fired comes with a cost, and every reload becomes a moment of real danger. Chad Stahelski, working with Yuan Wu-ping, mapped out each magazine change as part of the choreography. Instead of endless bullets, the characters run dry, fumble for fresh magazines, and risk everything in the open seconds it takes to reload. Neo and Agent Smith both reach the end of their magazines at the same moment. The air goes quiet except for the sound of empty slides locking back. For a few heartbeats, neither man can shoot. Suddenly, the fight is about movement, timing, and nerve, not just firepower. This approach rewires the tension. The audience knows exactly how much is left in each gun, and the stakes rise with every round spent. Vulnerability creeps in. Unlike the endless barrages of the past, here, running out of ammo means exposure. The choreography leans into these pauses, letting the threat of an empty gun shape the fight. By making reloads visible and dangerous, the film turns a simple action into a turning point, setting the stage for the next level of spectacle. The marble lobby explodes into chaos, but every detail feels deliberate. Neo and Trinity sweep in, each weapon chosen for how it cuts through the visual noise. Dual micro Uzis, custom modded Scorpions, and those gleaming Berettas are all arranged for instant recognition, even in a blur of shattered columns and slow-motion brass. The scene's choreography turns gunplay into a kind of dance, with reloads and weapon swaps woven into the rhythm. Extended magazines and chromed finishes create the illusion of bottomless firepower, yet the props are rooted in real-world hardware. For the first time in years, mainstream audiences started asking, what gun is that? Gun shops and collectors recall a spike in interest for anything that looked remotely Matrix-like, especially Uzi-patterned submachine guns. Online forums filled with frame-by-frame breakdowns as fans tried to identify every firearm in the duffel bags. Ian McCollum, a firearms historian, points out that Neo's arsenal felt accessible. Most of his guns were models anyone could buy, not just movie props. That sense of realism, mixed with the film's style, set a new blueprint. The Matrix did not just change action set pieces, it made the guns themselves part of pop culture, launching a wave of movies and games chasing the same blend of cool and credible. Today, movie arsenals still blur reality with fantasy, designing props that shape how millions picture power, danger, and cool. As every new blockbuster arms its heroes, the line between cinema and culture keeps shifting. What we see on screen still echoes far beyond it. Thanks for watching.